Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Miller. Every week, I chat with fascinating people from all walks of life in order to bring you knowledge, inspiration, and insight. If you enjoy the show, you can support it by subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with a friend. This is the Jeremy Miller Podcast. Didn't we start the last one with some milk? Yeah. We got a cheers. The quick trip slushies. What are the ones in Canada called?
Slush puppies.
Slush puppies.
Those are fucking good.
Does it taste like this or is it different? These are like really watery.
You either get like red or blue.
Oh, so more variety.
Maybe
here.
green.
Get more cancer in America.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. Nik Golymbiowsky.
Yes, sir.
Round 2 on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
I remember the last time we chatted, it was all about the build-up to the speed project. LA to Las Vegas, solo.
Yeah.
And you did it.
I did it.
How was it?
It was a lot. It was hard. It was easy. It was fun. It was like making me cry. So it was a full adventure experience.
For people that don't know what the speed project is, explain it.
Okay. You start in LA. You need to finish in Vegas somehow. You choose your own route. You choose everything that you do. You can either go alone. You can have a team of a million people, a team of 10 people. And basically you just got to use your own feet to get from LA to Vegas. And most people go through the desert. And it's pretty tough. It's pretty hot. And you end up running a lot.
How many miles total?
300 miles. There's a couple routes that are like 340 miles, but I took the 300-mile route.
And that's about 500K roughly?
Yeah.
Insane. How long did it take from start to finish?
5 days, 6 hours.
Dude, that's so long to just be running. You slept some, right?
Yep.
What was the sleep strategy like?
I aimed to sleep 3 hours a day, and there was no like planned strategy. It was take a 15-minute nap if you're feeling shitty. So if I'm either like really like depleted, like I'm not moving the way I want to, or I'm in a really bad mood, like take a 15-minute nap. If that doesn't fix it, run your next segment. And then after the next segment, okay, we'll take an hour and a half. If I'm really dead, so I think like two times during the 5 days, I took an actual 3-hour nap, which like that's a luxury. That's like a full night's sleep. But other than that, it's either you take a 15 or you take an hour and a half.
How do you know? Have you added up how much time you slept total from over the 5 days?
Probably, I'd never added up, but probably like just under 20 hours.
Dang. So I mean, a normal person, if you sleep 8 hours a night, I mean, you're sleeping what 40 hours in 5 days?
Yeah, I was doing mostly 3 hours of sleep, and then just a little bit over 3 hours of sleep.
Did you feel like you could have slept more? Like I guess that's probably a terrible question. Of course, you could have slept more, but like,
I don't think more sleep would have made better performance.
That was my question. Like, because it's probably a really fine line. Like, you want to keep moving, you want to just keep the pace going, always making forward progress, but also you have to sleep at some point. So like, when did you sleep during the day or was it at night?
Both. The day is physically harder. So whenever it's like scorching hot out, you want to just like give yourself a break. Or, as you know, because you did the course too.
Not solo,
but we did take the same route.
Yeah.
So like Arrowhead Trail, when it's super sandy, you're getting so frustrated. You're like, I just need a break from this because, you know, I can't get any momentum because I'm like ankle deep in sand. Then it feels really good to take a break. But then at night, it's mentally really hard to keep moving, to keep your momentum, to keep your stride. And you're also just naturally tired. There's nothing around you. It's all dark. So you want to be going to bed. So at both times, there's a good time to take a sleep.
When you're moving, what percentage of your moving time do you think is running? Like the time you're not sleeping, you're not sitting down to eat, your time actually moving? Like, what percentage do you think you were running?
What do you count as running? Like, how fast is running have to be?
Well, I guess it's a fine line between running and walking. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you just define that exactly. I think walking is like you have 2 feet on the ground.
Okay.
Or
okay.
running. Or sorry, walking you always have at least 1 foot on the ground. Running, there's a point where both feet are off the ground.
Yeah.
I think if we're getting technical.
I
mean, you know what it looks like when you're running.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
if it's a slow run. Versus power walking.
I would say like 60 to 70% of the time I was running or attempting to run.
Yeah.
And then 30 to 40% I was just trying to move.
Yeah.
Mostly it's like either I remember a point in time at night where I was just like, I was dead and I was like, and we gave ourselves, I think it was like a 20-mile segment that I had to go like before seeing the crew car.
Oh, wow.
And that's the only time you can really get a good sleep. Like you get maybe a 5-minute dirt nap when you're on the trail. Not really if you're alone, because that's a bit too dangerous. But if I had a pacer with me, I'd take a 5-minute dirt nap. But we had 20 miles to cover at night, and we were just both miserable and just walking through. We're both like delirious, talking like idiots, and just make sure you get 1 foot in front of the other.
Did you hallucinate at all from all the sleep deprivation and exhaustion?
Yeah. Hallucinations definitely did happen. Nothing like too intense. Like I've experienced more intense hallucinations, but just your brain trying to play tricks on you. Like you think you see something, you don't. Maybe like some of the bushes or the Joshua trees look a little bit more interesting than they usually do.
Interesting. I know you had a post that said that was I think it was your first post after you finished, and you said that was a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
That experience caused me to have thoughts and trains of thoughts that like I would never have without it. Like from my day-to-day life, I wouldn't be thinking this vulnerably or this like meta, that like just like the exertion and putting myself through like so much pain in these environments that are just so hard to survive, let alone keep running. It forced me to bring my mind into like new patterns of thought. And that's why it was like more psychedelic, because I was like learning about myself, thinking about life in a new perspective, not necessarily like career and house and, you know, what's my future going to look like thinking of life more like, oh my God, I'm a being on this earth, and how am I connected, and what's my purpose, and thinking more like that.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely psychedelic for sure. That's how those things make you think, because you forget about like all the little like dumb details of the real world of like, oh, how much money am I going to make this year? Or like what shoes do I want to buy next? Like all this dumb, it's always like materialistic related things, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then that psychedelic experience, I guess, pulls you out of that and I feel like it makes you think more from like a macro perspective of like, dude, we're just on this like floating rock in space. What the hell? Like, that's interesting that I've had similar experiences, I think, with ultras where it makes you think differently for sure. Like it definitely changes your perspective. What do you think it is about an ultra that makes you do that? Is it just because it's so hard, or because it's long, or like what do you think it is?
I don't know. Maybe it's like the primalness of it, because we're doing like our body's like just most natural movement, just running just for so long, so repeated, that's like taking us out of it, bringing us back to our roots a bit.
I wonder if it has something to do with like the presence, maybe. Like you're like, do you think you're like really present when you're running?
You try to be. Whenever if you're not present while running, you're probably not running well.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me the first like couple days.
Really?
First day, like I wasn't in the moment. I wasn't present. I was thinking about everything that I shouldn't have been thinking of, like wearing too many hats. Like, oh, what about my content? Where's my crew going to do this? Is my crew going to do this correctly? Is this shot going to look nice? Am I like just thinking all the things other than, am I running? Am I running like happy? Am I running efficiently? And it just caused my running to be really bad, and for me to enter the pain cave like really early in my race.
Was that when you were kind of lost, like getting out of LA?
No, Wasn't lost. I was actually like pretty happy once I was lost. I just brushed off my shoulder like, oh, whatever. Like happens to everyone who doesn't. I don't mind an extra couple kilometers. But no, it was like really like kilometer, probably starting at kilometer like 15 or 20. Like from 20 to 80, I was destroyed and terrified because I hit the marathon distance, which for me is usually like pretty easy, especially at that pace. It's like I'm not stressed.
Yeah.
I hit the marathon distance, wrecked, Achilles inflamed, knee couldn't put any pressure on it. I was like ready to sleep for 4 days. Like just getting to the marathon, I was struggling, and I was like, this is going to be the ugliest 500K ever. Like I thought I was going to crawl to the finish line.
That's so early to start having problems.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it had to obviously mess with you mentally. How did you get through that? Like, what did you tell yourself of like, this hurts so bad and I'm only this far in? How do you push through that?
I knew I wasn't going to quit. It wasn't even an option at the time. Like I'm only a marathon deep. I know that this isn't it. Like I didn't face a pain where I was like, oh, this is taking me out right now. So I just really was prepared to be like, okay, like the last 2 days, like I'm going to be destroyed. I'm going to be like moving slower than a snail. Like I was just accepting that, maybe it's going to take me 2 weeks to finish this, but I'm finishing.
What do you think it would take for you to not finish?
An injury, like a real injury.
Yeah. I feel like it's a fine line, especially when you're so. I mean, I've never gone beyond.
Maybe if I peed blood.
Yeah. Okay. That'd cause you to quit.
Yeah.
Because that's probably like rhabdo or something.
I'd check it out.
Yeah. Make a quick hospital trip. See. Yeah. It's like, where do you draw the line, or like maybe it's just like an instinct, I guess, of knowing whether something is hurt or you're just hurting.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a difference.
Yeah.
Like an injury or just some pain.
Yeah, you got to be connected to your body to understand, like, okay, is this something that's going to hurt for a week, or is this something that's going to hurt for half a year?
Yeah, and maybe that only comes from
experience,
years of experience, training, doing races. Yeah, dang. Did you have any real injuries? Like did anything linger after the race, or was it just like soreness and then you were good?
Nothing at all.
Really? Even the like Achilles thing that popped up pretty early?
That was gone by day 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah, all my problems were completely gone by day 3. I like to say that I Benjamin Buttoned the race. Like the first day was insanely hard. Like heat stroke, everything on my legs was just so bad. And then second day, still pretty bad. I didn't like moving faster than a 9-minute per kilometer pace. Like that was my all day pace, comfort pace. And I was like, if I go any faster than this, I'm risking either bonking. And I was like, it's only day 2. Like we're out here for a week. Like we'll be fine. I don't need to start going fast now. And then day 3, 4, and 5, like I was flying. I felt on top of the world. Obviously I had like, if right after waking up from a nap, like it needed to warm up and it hurt, but it was way better than day 1.
That's so interesting. I hear that a lot. Like Paul Johnson that just did Transcon, or other people I know that do these like really long multi-day efforts. It seems like early on that's where they have the most problems, because their body like is just trying to adapt and it's not there yet. But it seems like pretty quickly. I mean, yours seemed like it adapted, I guess, within like 3 or 4 days. And then, like, would you say by the end of it, like you were like, oh, I could keep doing this, or were you like dead at the very end?
No, I was able to keep going. My last kilometer was probably my fastest kilometer. I was sprinting to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign.
Yeah, that video of you coming in the finish, you looked like you were just out for like a Sunday jog.
Yeah,
You weren't tight. You weren't like the typical ultra shuffle.
Yeah,
just cruising. That's crazy.
It felt amazing. Yeah, like once you lock eyes on the sign, you don't even believe that it's it, and you think, like, I'm sure you experienced this too, you think it's going to be so big.
Yeah.
And it's really tiny. There's like a Harley Davidson sign right next to the Vegas sign. It's like way bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where am I running? And you see it and you're just straight, like beeline.
Yeah, it's not that big, but it is a good feeling. I mean, I remember how hyped we were. And we had a team of 6 people.
Yeah.
I think I covered 100K,
yeah.
a fifth of what you did, basically. Dude, and I couldn't imagine like that feeling when you could see it coming down Las Vegas Boulevard. Dude, that road, it felt so long, because it's long and straight for what, like I think it's like 15 or 20 miles because you come out of the desert. There's like that little town with like a casino you go through.
Prim.
Yeah. And then you get onto the old Las Vegas Boulevard. It's like that long straight road for, I think it's like a marathon almost. It's really long.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm sure the last, were you getting like antsy towards the end? Like, come on, like I gotta.
So I hit that at night.
Oh.
So I did a little bit through the night, took a long rest, and then started again at sunrise. And that kind of made it easier. Like it split it up. And then I wanted to finish during daylight, and I felt like I had like my juice back. So it was just getting it over. And honestly, like Mathieu, my crew captain, was telling me is like, you know, soak it all in. Like this is the time. Like, you know, this is what we live for. Like once it's over, it's over. So like don't waste this.
Yeah. Were you sad when it was over?
Oh man, it was a whirlwind of emotions. Right at the finish line, obviously you're extremely happy. You and your crew just like accomplished something amazing. But the transition from just 5 days of living that ultra lifestyle, that like adventure lifestyle, versus going back into real life, it was a tough transition. Where like feeling like similar to like depression or just like really lost, because for 5 days I was the center of everyone's attention and my mind was fixed on one goal of just moving forward. Every single action I took, every single thought I had was helping me get closer to this goal. So really, really job task oriented. And then you finish, and then you don't have these like servants for you anymore. You're not treated like a king anymore. And you're presented with the options. Like I woke up and I was like, what can I do? I can go eat breakfast. I can go back to bed. I could go on my phone. I could read a book. I could talk to this person right there. Just having all these options was really overwhelming. And I was like, I can't handle this right now.
Wow. That's interesting. I remember even, I took us like 37 hours or something, but even just like living out of an RV for like 2 days basically. And then we got back, we finished, and then we were in Vegas, like walking through a casino, and there's just all these people on vacation, getting drunk, like playing the slot machines. And even for us, it was like, this is just, you feel like you're back into civilization.
Yeah.
Because you've been removed. Like we're like, dude, we were just running through the desert for a couple days. I couldn't imagine doing that for 5 days and then having to go back. It's like,
being reintroduced to like the stress and anxiety of the common world, like seeing someone honking at someone when the light just turns green, like that's the things that I look at. I'm like, whoa, what the heck? Like it like rubs you the wrong way a little bit, and you just want to like shelter it out.
Yeah, because it's easy to get hooked into that, like when you start worrying about all these little details and things that don't really matter. But maybe it takes things like an ultra or doing something really physically hard that makes you like snap out of that and just realize like, man, none of that shit matters. It's like we have things so easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like ultra so much. One reason is it forces you to go do something so uncomfortable and so difficult physically.
Yeah.
Because we don't get enough of that in like our day-to-day lives. I think that's why depression and anxiety, it's so common. Yeah. Because people don't get enough of that. Dang. I'm curious to hear your relationship with pain. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like as I've been training through marathons and like for my first 100-mile race and stuff, like I've developed this relationship with pain almost. I'm curious to hear like how you treat it. Like when things get hard, like when it gets really painful, like your legs hurt.
Yeah.
It's super uncomfortable. It's tight, whatever it is. Your feet hurt. How do you manage that? How do you like keep moving forward?
Yeah. I feel like all the answers I give now, like in this state of being like very perfectly fit and like, you know, I'm not in the pain cave right now.
Yeah.
So right now my view on pain is always gonna be different versus when you're actually in the agony.
Yeah.
But when I'm entering an ultra or when I'm like just in this state right now, I view pain as just being inevitable. And once you hit a point where you're actually in a lot of pain, it's kind of a good sign because you're like, oh, I'm doing something that I like doing. This is why I'm here. And, you know, you're not going to do a 100-mile without feeling pain. You're not going to do a marathon without feeling pain. So it's like a tap on the back almost, like, yeah, you're here, good job, keep pushing.
Yeah.
But then when you're actually in it and you feel the pain, it's hard to remember that you enjoy it, and it's hard to remember like, oh, I'm actually happy about this pain. And that happened to me at TSP. It was my friend Mikey, who it was day one, and I was suffering so bad, and I was complaining about like this suffering. And he was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you literally posted on Instagram 5 days ago, you were looking forward for the hurt. And I was like, oh, I was, and I still am. And then I was happy to feel the hurt again. But you just need to realize it.
Yeah. It's so much of it's just the perspective or the mindset you have. Yeah, we were talking about this I think it was Friday night when we were doing our like 4-hour run through the dark.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a lot of this stuff. We went deep, but it's definitely like when you're in that moment, it's so hard. And I think I don't know, it's so tricky because it's easy to have that perspective when you're not in it. But as soon as you're in the pain cave, the reason you're in the pain cave is because you don't have that perspective. So maybe it's just a matter of like, how do you just get yourself to remember that more often and like snap back into it quicker.
Yep.
Because it's like your body, I don't know enough about it, I guess, but I don't think your body is constantly fluctuating that much. Maybe it is, but I think it's more your mind. Like your mind has these ups and downs rather than your body. Your body is always kind of feeling the same. But I think, at least in my experience, like your body reaches like a point and then it just kind of stays there. It doesn't really get that much worse, I don't think, the pain at least, but it's your mind and how you're dealing and enduring that pain, right? Is that your experience?
Yeah, apart from like injuries or something,
Right.
like, yeah, it's basically just how you view the pain and how you like face it, accept it, or don't accept it. Like when you don't accept the pain, then it's probably going to hurt the most.
Yeah, like you try and resist it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard that from people that have like anxiety. It's because they try to resist it. They try and like push it away and like fight it. And I think it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because it makes you more aware of it and whatever it is makes it worse. Interesting. That's so fascinating.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's like bottling up your emotions. Like, don't do it.
You gotta just let it out.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Cry a little
Interesting. Did you listen to music at all?
Yep.
Or podcasts or anything?
No podcasts. I think I listened to like a total of like maybe 10 hours of music during the 135 hours. So really not much. I listened to the Vultures album once. I listened to
Kanye.
Yeah. For All the Dogs, the Drake album once. Some J. Cole, and then a ton of just like German house, the stuff I was showing you before.
That kind of like ambient.
Yeah.
Electric.
Listening to that at night.
Oh.
That was really nice. Oh, and then
that sounds psychedelic.
Yeah. And then on Las Vegas Boulevard, right at the end, the sun was rising, the sky was pink, and the Jeep was driving like right next to me as I'm running, and they had the volume blasting, and like one of my favorite songs came on, and that was like a moment to remember.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like it seems like using music strategically. Like you don't want to. I don't think you want to do it all the time.
Nope.
Because you're just gonna get used to it. But maybe using it when you're feeling down or when you're feeling shitty and like let it lift you back up maybe.
Yeah, I tell all my athletes like use music the same way you use caffeine.
Yeah.
Like you definitely don't need it at the start, and recognize how powerful it is, because that can get you from like feeling low to feeling high. That can get you from feeling fast to feeling even faster. And if you use too much of it, it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, because you start to get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it, even get aggravated by it, the same way caffeine will give you GI.
Right. Interesting. These are good tips. Honestly, a lot of these questions come selfishly for my race coming up. But it's so interesting, dude. There's just not many people who are willing to go run 300 miles through the desert. What logistically, how did you guys set everything up? Because you had like a Jeep, I think, right? What did that look like?
The Jeep, oh my gosh, our packing of the Jeep, like if we would have had like one more bag, we wouldn't have been able to fit it. Like we got everything just perfect. Like we were at the car dealership and we were like, take out the cooler. There was like a built-in cooler. We're like, there's a tent on top, and we couldn't take the ladder to the tent because it was taking up too much space. So we had to crawl, like jump on top of the Jeep every time to get into the top tent. What did it look like logistically? There was a ton of food, and we couldn't bring the entire 5-day supply of food because it would have taken up too much space and stuff would have gone bad. So We had to plan the grocery stops and like dinners. There were a couple of restaurant stops that were so fun, so tasty.
Did you go in and like eat at the
Yeah,
restaurant? Oh,
yeah, yeah.
nice.
The first night we were at a saloon. I have a couple photos that I'm just completely wiped out. Like this is when I'm in my low, my heat stroke, and all my legs are blown up, and I'm just in the saloon. I can't even keep my head up. And I got some like chicken wings and stuff. And then
That's fun. You can just do that in the middle of that race.
Yeah.
There's really no other races that you could just like stop and sit at a restaurant and
Yeah.
get a full meal.
It was so awesome. We were goofing around so much. We just kept screaming like, "Can I get a hot dog?"
How many people were on your crew?
So my crew had 3 people, but I was running with Mikey, another solo runner, and his crew had another 3 people. And we were doing the exact same pace for a while, and we're friends. We were hanging out. We were running together. So our 2 crews meshed into one big crew, which worked out so much because we were each missing a piece of the puzzle that the other one really complemented. Like my crew had a lot of like ultra running experience, and they knew exactly what I needed at exactly what point in time. And Mikey's crew was a party, man. They brought all the good energy. They were just so fun to be around. So mixing the like logistics with the great spirit together, it was like a dream. And we ran together for like the first like 2 days basically. And then we learned everything we needed from each other. And then once we split up, we were still like leapfrogging a bit, but that was great.
That's sick. So how did you, so like you'd run how far before the Jeep would, like, because I guess how we did it was like our RV would see us every like, maybe like 10 miles or so. And then the Jeep would like basically follow the runner the whole time, or maybe they'd go up like a mile or 2 on the road,
Pull
over, tag the next runner in. Is that kind of what you guys did? Was like the Jeep was like leapfrog with you?
Yep, exactly. How many did I do it? I think I was doing like probably 4 miles at the start. During the day, they'd see me more often, and then they would say like, okay, you need to have some alone time. You need to like go on a big one, either because like I wasn't in it enough, and they were like, hey, no, you need to like have an experience right now. So they would send me off for like to do like a 20K by myself. If there was like a logistical problem with the map and the car couldn't get there, I think the longest route I had to do was 40K on my own. But I can't remember it was always changing and really depended on how I felt.
Yeah.
Like if I would go, but like I want to see you guys, because it's really nice to see the crew, see the Jeep. You have the opportunity to take another nap if you want, to refuel. Like it's a real recharge, but the downside is you're wasting time. You're sitting on a chair, you're just goofing around. So you need to find that perfect medium of like you're not doing too far of a segment that you're like completely drained and mentally like beat up after, and you don't want to do it too close where you're spending 20 30 minutes every 5K or every 2K.
Did you wear a pack? I think actually you wore a pack and like always had water, like phone stuff with you.
First day I was always wearing like a big 14-liter pack. I was like over prepared, and then we started to realize it was a bit too heavy, so I changed to a 7-liter pack, optimized the hell out of it, and then around the last day I just left everything because the Jeep was like pretty close to me, and I was finally able to run shirtless, which felt so freeing and so nice.
Nice. What did you carry with you? Like what did you have with you at all times?
My Garmin InReach, so for location.
Was that mandatory?
It wasn't mandatory, but I was like live sharing my location on a website so people could track me.
Oh, nice.
So that really helped. And if I got lost, like it makes a big difference, especially with spotty cell phone reception.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know where you are.
Yeah. And then you could send like a satellite message.
Oh, nice.
What else I have? I think I always had like for my food, I had like applesauce. I had beef jerky. I had obviously just like normal gels, like Hornet gels and some Morton. What else did I have on me?
Hash browns?
Yep, hash browns for a lot of it. Water. I'm bringing Jeremy into the hash brown world.
Explain to people why you love hash browns so much.
Okay. So potatoes is the old reliable for ultra running nutrition. They have the exact macronutrients that you want. They're not going to give you GI, and they're also very versatile. So I started off like leaning into the natural fueling of ultra running world, meaning like not gels, more into real foods. with mashed potatoes, but then it started to get too complex and too I needed too much preparation. Like I needed to like peel like 30 potatoes, boil them, mash them, put the right amount of salt, put the right amount of anything else that I wanted with it. Sometimes I do like maple syrup, honey, milk, butter. I think that's what it's called, buttermilk, and now I just transitioned to hash browns. They're pre-made. They're like real good. They have that oil that's a bit easier to get down. You could fry them, getting a little bit of crunch in there. And for Jeremy's 100 miler, I'm trying to push him towards that direction. So on our 4-hour run, I was like, I don't want to see you eat one gel. Use only hash browns.
I got in a few gels. I love gels. Yeah. But I get it. Yeah. We'll see. I think I'll definitely take some with me. Like I think it'd be nice to have at aid stations.
Yeah.
Like giving my crew, have some hash browns.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And I mean, I guess like you made a good point of you can get hash browns anywhere. Yeah. Like go to a grocery store. Most of them are going to have frozen hash browns. McDonald's is universal. Yeah. So dang, the hash browns are funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever have stomach issues during TSP?
I don't think so. I was pretty good about it. And the reason I don't think I did was because I was constantly eating a ton. I was having probably around like 6,000 calories a day. So huge breakfast.
Dang.
Of like...
That's a lot of food.
Yeah. Of like just your traditional, like what you eat for breakfast. Oatmeal, peanut butter, honey, toast. Throughout the day, I'm eating all like those like snacks. And then 3 times a day, I would have like either like a big burrito. And like in my burrito, I'd even put like an extra like Morton solid in the burrito.
What? Do you have any videos of that?
Yeah,
pictures?
Yeah. My crew was so amazing for cooking, man. Like they would have like this giant chicken stacked wraps. Obviously like some soups. One night we had steak and just like normal meals. And then every night, that's when we'd either like stop at a gas station or a restaurant to like really, really fuel up. And I remember Mathieu bought this like 12-pack of Cinnabons, and like each Cinnabon was like 1,500 calories of like a fat cinnamon roll. And he was like, bro, this is the best thing for you ever right now. So I couldn't even eat half of it because it's just so filling and so sweet. But he was like, bro, eat it, eat it, eat it. So I had like a Cinnabon in one hand, a Subway sandwich in the other, just double fisting it. And because I kept smashing calories is why I was able to have no stomach problems.
Dang. Yeah, it seems like especially the multi-day stuff, its nutrition is maybe one of the most important things.
Yeah, to make a break.
Yeah, because if it goes south, I think you're just kind of screwed sometimes. Like I've seen a lot of like these 200-mile races and stuff, people will get GI issues and they're like, they can't keep anything down. They're just throwing everything up or they're crapping everywhere. Like, and if you have no energy, it's like you can't move.
Yeah, I remember I was doing a 50-miler and I was getting cocky. So I wasn't eating much. I was like picking up my pace a little bit too. And I got to a point where I was hungry, but your like stomach shrank. So I couldn't eat the amount I wanted to eat. And I couldn't take down the amount of calories I wanted to take in. So I messed myself. And like, if you're not consistently good about it the whole race, you're just going to mess yourself up.
Yeah. Interesting. The nutrition's so fascinating. Yeah. What do you think was the best part of TSP? Like, was there one moment or maybe like one big thing you took away, or what do you think like your favorite part about the whole experience was?
Honestly, my best, most memorable part might actually be a sad moment of TSP. So we're in Powerline, and first of all, I'm just so happy to be off the roads and in these rolling hills. Like that's my environment. That's where I like love it. And it's not sandy rolling hills either. It's like nice rock, like the environment that I'm used to training on. So I was like power hiking really fast up and flying down, just absolutely in love with the trails. Everything was feeling good. Everything was making sense. And then we're getting down, you probably remember this, we're getting down one really long road where, first of all, it's super sketchy for the Jeep. The left side is all these super big, sharp, jagged rocks. And the right is like a little bit of a trail. Like you get like 1 foot in front of the other. So you're having to tiptoe in between like some like runnable trail and basically like scrambling rocks that are really dangerous. And I'm flying down probably at like a sub 4 minute pace per kilometer, so like really flying. And I'm with Mathieu, who's running with me, and he like kicks a rock or something. I hear him kick the rock, and I'm like, oh no. So I look back, and he is like doing a barrel roll down these sharp, jagged rocks. And I stop running, and like his clothes are torn. He's bleeding. He's like, he could barely get up. He's in so much pain.
Oh no.
And I'm really close to Mathieu, so like seeing that happen, I was so scared. And he's a very accomplished runner himself. He just did like Tour des Gens, and I was like, oh my god, did my adventure injure Mathieu? And I felt so bad. And right away he's like, keep running, I'm gonna be okay. And he's a crew captain, so anything he says goes. So I was like, okay, I gotta keep running. So I'm running down, and I keep looking back to see like what's happening. Like, is he out? Do we need to go to the hospital right now? And he ended up like letting out like one big like cry, scream, yell.
Oh wow.
That just, when I heard it, it broke my heart, because like he's a man. Like he's older than me, and he's like a real man. Like kind of like he has that dad energy. So hearing that, it kind of was resembling like hearing your dad cry or something, which is heartbreaking. So immediately I bust into tears after I hear that. And he decided the best way to deal with his injury was to keep running. And he actually ended up like catching up to me at my super fast pace. And when I saw him, we were running down the hill and hugging at the same time. And I was like, I love you so much, man. He's like, I love you. And that really just like encapsulated the whole adventure of like, yeah, we're out here doing a tough run, doing a tough thing, but like it's really way more than that. And we're making these bonds. And like, there's so much love in my crew, and like, we are just such a family.
Yeah, dude, I love ultra running so much because it's so much of a team sport like that. Like, you can't get that experience doing anything else.
Yeah, that Lucy was giving out bracelets. She had the course record last year, and she was giving out bracelets to everyone, saying running is a team sport.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, you get a different vibe in like marathons or
Yeah,
like
not the same.
Ironmans or something. But ultra, it's so like community, team oriented. I love that. That's good.
Yeah.
Did he end up like hurting something, like injuring, or is he just like?
I think just like a bad Charlie horse. Ripped a couple of his clothes and just had a couple cuts, but
Damn,
nothing serious.
that's cool. Dude, trying to even find friends that'll go out and like spend 5 days. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's probably like a full like 7 to 10 day experience to just give up their lives and go help support you like that. That's so sick.
Dude, by the end of it, my entire crew was like, I'm never crewing again.
I bet if you asked them, they'd probably do it again.
Eventually, you gotta have a really good offer.
Yeah, you gotta give them enough time to forget about how terrible it was. Dude, what do you think the worst part was? Was there a worst part?
I vividly remember I'm running on the side of a highway at night, and it's just never ending, man. Like, I use the expression a lot, like it just felt like a treadmill. So I hate treadmill running. I think it's really boring. And this highway is just like, you keep going, same exact scenery on the left, same exact scenery on the right. I look forward, I see a white line, I see a yellow dotted line, and it was just never ending. And I was getting cranky, I was irritable, and I wasn't moving how I wanted to move. I wasn't moving fast. I wasn't even keeping a consistent run. And I was getting so frustrated with myself because I kept changing from run to a walk, but I really wanted to keep running, but I just kept like falling back into my walk. And every time that happened, I'd yell from the bottom of my heart. And then there was one time where like I yelled like and it was so pure, and like there was I reached such a deep part of my body with that yell that Malcolm, who I was with, he was pacing me at the time, he was like, whoa, that was a good one. And like it might have frightened him a little bit. That was definitely the worst part. That was I was battling real demons, definitely my lowest low.
What point in the race was that? Do you remember like how many Ks or how many miles in? Was it that long straight road where there's like no turns or anything? It was just like...
It was definitely long and straight. I think it was right before Barstow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before we reached Barstow.
I remember that part. There's a lot of sections like that.
Yeah.
Because it's... like, what percentage of the race, or I guess the route, would you say was trail versus like dirt or
Yeah,
road.
I think like 65% trail if you count like dirt roads as trail.
Yeah, that's a lot of miles on the road.
Yeah,
and just like
Yeah.
like pounding.
especially for someone who doesn't like the road.
Yeah,
And the worst thing about the road is it's slanted a little
Yeah.
bit, so one of your knees takes way more impact than the other.
would you switch sides on the road
Yeah,
to help with it?
if there's traffic, you can't.
That's true. What? So did you run on the right
Opposing side.
Oh, you ran on the
So you
opposing
see the
side.
cars coming towards
That
you.
makes sense. Damn. Tell me about the the foot slapping thing.
Yeah,
I saw a
dude.
video of your crew just like slapping the hell out of your feet
Yeah.
in the middle of the race.
So that was like a real hack. I didn't know about it. Like Metzier's a genius. He should write like an encyclopedia for ultra running. And he was just like, he taught me that. He was like, how do your legs feel? And he was like, oh, I have the best thing for your feet. Cause I said like, oh, like my legs feel great. My feet feel a little bit sore. He was like, oh, I got you. And then he learned that in Europe and just slapping the bottom of your feet to like get the blood back up in your legs. And it really works. It hurts, but it really, really works. And yeah, we did that like 2 or 3 times every day just to keep my feet fresh.
Interesting.
And then you put a little bit of Vaseline, maybe a fresh pair of socks, and then you're good to go.
Dang. Did you wear the same pair of shoes the whole time?
No, I had a rotation of 4 or 5 shoes. Needing to switch it for the terrain, needing to switch it if my Achilles or my knee was acting up. But I wore my my Cylon Pros, my like green Arc'teryx shoes, for a good like 250K, not unbroken. But towards the end, those were the only shoes I could run in because they had a big rocker that kind of like throws you in your stride. So the moment you're near the balls of your foot, you're automatically pushed onto your toes. And that was feeling great. Like that was a dream shoe to wear.
Nice. Yeah, it's like the Saucony's.
Yep.
Like that. We were talking about that speed roll. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, that was the other pair of shoes I brought. The
Saucony's.
Speed 3s.
I love those shoes. Yeah, dude, it seems like your feet and your stomach are, I think, the 2 biggest things to make sure are in good shape.
Feet, stomach, chafing.
Chafing. Did you chafe at all? It seems like you don't chafe very much.
Did I chafe at all? I think I had a couple points, but I had a huge tub of Vaseline that I ran through just because like precautionary.
Is that all you use, Vaseline?
That's all I use this time. Sometimes I'll do Body Glide.
Does that seem to work as good as like any, like that's other stuff's like so expensive, just like buying true chafe cream, but it's basically just Vaseline, right?
It worked for me. Did the cocoa butter one too.
Yeah, I've got this one that I use, but it's kind of expensive. I might just switch to Vaseline.
Nut butter?
It's Salty Britches.
Never heard of it.
I think it's like an American company. It works good. I just don't want to pay for it.
The only thing that's convenient is like when it comes in the in like the bar, you can
like you roll it on.
You put it in your pack, easy to carry.
Yeah. Is that it looks like deodorant?
Yeah.
Kind of? Okay.
Yeah.
I have this one called Sport Shield. Have you used that?
No.
It's like, I'll show you. Like, it's so nice. I put it on my feet and you just like, it's like a little like ball and it like rolls out because you don't get your hands messy, which is nice. Would you do this again? Would you do TSP again? If I said Nick, I'll give you, if Nils said, hey, I'll give you another spot in TSP 2025, would you do it?
I would definitely do the distance again. Doing it from LA to Vegas, unless I do something very different, I don't have a passion or an appeal to do that same route. Like doing that same route faster, I could care less.
Yeah.
But maybe doing the one from Salt Lake to Vegas, that could be really cool.
The Secret Project.
Yeah. I don't know how much we'll have to talk about that. But I would do that. Or maybe like if I did something really different.
What about the Chile one?
That one seems really cool. Atacama. Nils is telling me like how dangerous and how extreme it is. Because I told him a couple days before, like he was asking me how ready I am. And I was like, dude, like, yeah, it's a far distance, but like there's nothing extreme about this race. Like you're just running. Like there's cell reception like most of the time. And like there's the cars with you like 90% of the time. Like there's nothing really dangerous about this.
Yeah.
Maybe some dogs.
Yeah. Did you see any dogs out there?
Tons.
Did any of them like come up to you?
Yeah. A lot of times I was within like an arm's reach of the dog. That
really?
Yeah, they weren't friendly either.
How did you? What'd you do? Just like yell at them?
Yeah, you either act big, like smack your poles. You kind of like psych them out a little bit, and they get scared.
Damn, that's gotta like get your heart rate up a little bit when there's some wild dogs coming at you, dude. If there's a pack of them, like multiple, like I mean, if they've got numbers, I don't know if there's much you could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did any runners that you know have ever had like true issues with the dogs?
They were getting like this year. There was 3 like real troublemaker dogs that I don't know if anyone got bit, but they were being chased for a long time. And those dogs ended up all getting hit by cars because they were chasing the runner, and the runner would like zigzag, try to distract them. And you know, usually you want to like stand your ground and tell the dog to scram.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're there for 10 minutes, you're like, hey, how much time am I going to waste on this dog?
Right.
You don't want to waste an hour on a dog, so you keep running and zigzagging through, and they got hit by cars and trucks.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Damn, that's too bad. And they were wild dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but still sad. Dang. Dude, what a crazy race. 300 miles. I think I remember when we were talking about it on the first podcast, I was like, 300 miles, that's a long ways. But like, I don't know what 300 miles is like.
Yeah.
But now that I was out there and did it with the team, I'm like, dude, that's all I was thinking of the whole time when I was out there. I was like, I could not imagine doing this solo. Like, we covered so much ground.
Yeah.
Like 300 miles is so far.
It's a proper adventure.
It's definitely an adventure. Interesting. And that's the longest thing you've done, right?
So far.
Would you say it's the hardest thing you've done?
I don't know. It was definitely had some really hard moments, but it's hard to put into like order of was it the hardest thing ever, because there's different aspects that are different hard. Like maybe studying for a test was harder.
Right.
Because it's something I really didn't want to do, but it was definitely not easy.
Yeah. Interesting. Dude, these ultra distance, like multi-day things are just so fascinating to me, because it's beyond like what I thought is human potential, like for so long. I remember when I first heard somebody did a 100-mile race, I'm like, did they die afterwards? Like, are they okay? And it's like, people do it all the time. Even these multi-day, like 200-300 mile races, people just do them, and like people are figuring them out and doing them so quickly.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is the next thing for you? Like, how do you top running 300 miles through the desert? Like, what's the? Because it's like a drug. You can't just stop here. You got to keep going. I know.
I haven't found my next big project. I'll know when I find something that really excites me, but probably something a little bit even more adventure-like. Maybe doing it like completely solo, no crew. That could be cool. I don't know, just something with a little bit more danger, I guess.
Do you want it to be in a race setting?
It doesn't matter right now. I just want to find something that excites me.
Interesting. What about like Barclays? You don't want to do Barclays? I guess we talked about that.
Yeah. I don't know.
That seems very adventurous. I'm surprised you don't want to do that one. Because it's too mainstream.
I don't know why. I don't have a good reason to why I'm not excited to do it. It's just like nothing's pulling me to do it.
Do you have any like dream races, like bucket list type things where you're like, I want to do that before I die?
I think Western States would be really cool just because I'm really attracted to the downhill.
You fly out the downhills.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 days running on the trails with you, I literally know you slow down so that I can keep up, but I'm like, bro, he is just flying. Like, you have no fear going down the downhills.
It's just fluid. Just you find your spot and you know your foot's gonna land there and you're not thinking about it too much.
I think I just need to trust myself more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Western States would be sick.
Yeah.
I filmed it a couple years ago. It's a fun race. It's like the Boston Marathon of hundreds. That and Leadville.
Yeah.
That's what I would compare it to. It's like lots of media, tons of spectators, people, which is cool. But it's also like more commercialized, I think, which is fine. But yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be a cool course, definitely. So just Western States? That's the only one you can think of?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't been to Europe yet, but I'm sure like doing the mountains there would really be really awesome.
Yeah. Dude, you definitely got to go to Europe.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should plan like a sick adventure run through like Switzerland or something.
I'm down.
Dude, that'd be fun. Man. How did you train for TSP? I think a lot of people would be curious about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it a lot in that other podcast, but we like break it down one more time. Like the months leading up to a 300-mile race.
Yeah. I think I went to TSP with like the least miles logged out of we were 25 people who did it, and I was probably the one with the least miles logged for all 25.
What place did you end up coming in?
13th out of 25.
Dang.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of those people didn't finish, or did they all finish?
4 DNF'd.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
ratio.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 DNFs. I finished right in the middle of the pack. I was the youngest runner. But I really wasn't logging that much. Like my guiding mantra throughout the whole training was just be gentle. Like be gentle to your body. And then there was my crew captain Mathieu who told me to do that, and he just came off a 300k in the Dolomites. So I was like, okay, let's see. Let me follow that. And then we're a week before TSP, and we haven't really caught up in a couple of weeks. I'm like, hey, just to let you know, like I've been being really gentle with my body. And he's like, oh, we'll see if it worked. And I was like, what?
Thanks for the confidence.
Yeah. So that was awesome. But
apparently it did.
Yeah, definitely worked.
What do you mean by be gentle? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people think like they got to be getting like 70, 80, 100-mile weeks in consistently, one after another, like, and stacking it with heavy strength days and just breaking your body and like making sure to get a ungodly amount of miles every single week because you're training for a 300 miler. But I just focused on feeling good, feeling fit. I was run commuting, so just like if I needed to go somewhere, I was running there. I wasn't wearing a watch for the longest time. I actually just reintroduced the watch to my wrist.
I was actually going to ask you about that. I don't remember you wearing a watch last time.
No. Yeah, because I was getting like so fed up of all the stats, and I was like, I don't care. I just want to like feel good. That's the only thing I cared about. Just feeling good, feeling strong. And so I actually wasn't logging my miles during the training, but probably on a normal week, somewhere between like 40 and 50 miles, like 70K.
Not that much, really.
No, like 70K. And then peak weeks, like 70 miles, 120K. And then the training was really like once a month. I had like one ultra of like 80 to 100 miles, or 80K to 160K. So 50 to 100 miles once a month. And it wasn't a race. It was just like usually an event or like just for fun. And other than that, I was just feeling good and running to my tasks and running home and biking. Just pretty unstructured.
Yeah. Just like always kind of moving.
Yeah.
Ready to run, do something, whatever.
Always moving, and then getting body work done. So like massage therapy 2 to 3 times a month. Fascia stretch therapy at Optimal Stretch Clinic, which is like a big game changer for me.
Dang. What is a fascia stretch?
It's like lazy yoga. So like obviously, you know, your body is completely covered in fascia from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Yeah. So if that gets wound up even in only one part of your body, your entire body is going to be a little bit messed up. And then you also have these deep fascia lines. So getting those loose just like help your body be able to perform at how you want to perform. And so like I said, it's lazy yoga. So he's putting me in all these like deep hip stretch positions because that's where most of my tension is, in my hips. And all I got to do is lie there. If you were to do a yoga class, you need to be contracting your body, engaging muscles to get yourself in a certain position. But my guy is just like putting me in the positions, and I'm able to be fully relaxed and just concentrate on the breath work going through these stretches. And it was a real game changer for me.
Dang. Yeah, you're big on foam rolling too, right?
Yes, sir.
And stretching. Dude, I've never seen somebody pigeon stretch more than you.
Foam rolling, I think, is more efficient than stretching. Stretching is like a little short-term relief. Foam rolling is more long-term. But yeah, the pigeon pose has just been feeling real nice lately.
What does your strength routine look like?
Strength routine is, again, pretty... like not like yours at all. I just like to play around with like medicine balls, trampolines, elastic, balance, just things that really keep me entertained, or else I won't do it. I'm so over benching and deadlifting and doing all that. Like I have zero interest to do that. So just doing things that are like dynamic athletic movements, engaging the whole body and having fun. I got this guy's program, MT Peak Performance, or MT Performance, he's like very holistic and bringing your body back and improving your elasticity. So I followed his like 9 or 12 week program, and that really helped like strengthen weak points in your body and recognize what part of my body's unbalanced. Like a lot of people's like hips are like their pelvis is bad, or your posture, your shoulders. And that just has like pulling and just all elastics and throwing medicine balls. So very, I guess, primal. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think seems like for runners especially, the biggest thing with strength training is just finding what you enjoy doing. Like, because I think so many runners hate strength training.
Mm-hmm.
They just hate like going to the gym, and it's like not as exciting. It's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think making it as functional as possible definitely, obviously it helps.
Rock climbing helps a lot with that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm doing like bouldering, and that's just so fun.
Yeah, probably. I guess like get the upper body strength, obviously, but I'm sure legs too, and like
Yeah.
getting in those weird, awkward positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think functionality, like just being able to pick things up and move them around and do stuff in like awkward kind of positions,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously if you can simulate the running position as much as possible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was cycling a lot too, so that helped with like my leg strength. On my fixed gear bike, so I'm using my quads a little bit more, and I'm using all the same muscles as I am while running, but low impact.
Yeah.
Like literally zero impact. So I was able to strengthen my legs a bit too.
I like that. Yeah, I think following a training program, like running program, especially for ultras, I think it's usually as a guideline, like have like like a bowling alley. It's like you've got the safety rails up to like kind of help guide you, bounce you back in place. But I think being flexible with it as much as possible and just like tuning into your body, doing things based off of feel seems to be the best way to go about it.
Especially if you're not trying to break any records,
Yeah.
just doing it for the enjoyment, doing it to have a good time. Like I wasn't going out there trying to smash a course record. I was just going out there to like give it a good effort, and have a great time doing it and like make good memories with my crew. Like that was the best way I could have trained.
Yeah. I love that, dude. TSP, man. What a crazy adventure.
Yes, sir.
Dude. I think people are going to like listening to this because it's just so wild. Do you ever want to do any of the like Moab or Cocodona, Tahoe, any of those like 200 miles?
Cocodona has a little spot in my brain. I don't know really the course map of Moab, so maybe that would be cool too. But I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I feel like you'd like Tahoe or like Bigfoot because they're very mountainous, like super mountainous.
I like that.
Super beautiful courses too. Damn, I don't know about the 200-mile distance yet, dude. I want to get through this 100 first. See how the 100 goes. I know I could do it, but the 200 miles, I just don't know. Maybe I got a question for you. What do you think? What's the benefit of doing a 100-mile race versus a 200-mile race or a 300-mile race? Like the multi-day versus the single day 100-miler. Like what do you get out of it that you might not be able to get from a 100-miler?
When you asked that question at first, I was like, what's the benefit of doing these races? Like just like good memories.
Just generally.
When you're doing a 100-miler race, you ideally want to use practices that you can like do at a forever pace. And like, when I say forever pace, I mean like let's say you're running for a month, like or you just like the hardest geezer running across Africa. Like he's not doing any practices that will only last for a day or 2 days, and if you do it for longer than that, you're gonna get sick or it's gonna hurt you. So doing these ultra distances helps you discover what works for you on a very long term, and then implementing that into your shorter term stuff, like a 100-mile race that usually lasts like 24 hours ish. That's really good because you know you're doing the right things.
Yeah. What do you like better? Do you like it? Cause I know I asked you yesterday. You said you have zero desire to do like a fast marathon.
Yeah.
So that's out of the question. Marathon's too easy.
Yeah.
Too short. What do you like better? The 100-mile distance, or like 100K, 100-mile ish, something you can do in a day, or the multi-day? What do you have a
Definitely
preference?
the variety. I mean, a marathon could be fun too. You get it done in an afternoon. But definitely just like going back and forth, using the 100 miles to help the 200s, using the 200s to help the 100s.
Yeah.
And just, it's not really about the distance. It's more about like the journey and like, why am I going there? Where am I going?
Right.
And what am I going to, like, if there's a place I really want to go to, let's say Colorado, and there's like a massive race and there's like a 80K or like a 50 miler or like a 200 miler. Like whichever one has slots, I'm gonna choose. Like if like one doesn't have a slot, I'll be okay. I'll just choose that one. Okay, I'll just choose that one. And I think it's really cool to be at a point where it's like the distance is obtainable, no matter what. So just having the pick and choose, like, okay, well, when's my flight?
Yeah.
Let's choose it off of that.
Interesting. Dude, you're crazy. And I think I said this on the last podcast. You talk about these distances like it's just so casual. Like, and I'm actually I find myself doing that more now.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's because you hear somebody, I remember when I first heard somebody say a marathon, I'm like, 26 miles? You're going to run that far? Like, it sounded insane. And then when I first heard of 100 milers, same thing. When I first heard of 200 milers, right now, that's how I feel about 200 or 300 miles. I'm like, how is that even possible? But then you work your way up to it and you build up to it and you realize like it's not that far beyond your reach.
I'm so excited to see your 100 miler.
I'm excited for it. I'm very excited. I think I'm going to learn a lot through, like race strategy, all that stuff, but also just like about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like you learned from doing the speed project? What did you learn from it? Because you said earlier that you felt like you had a lot of time to think and kind of meditate and work through things, whatever. Like, if you're willing to share, if it's personal, you don't have to. But
I think something I learned is just like life, not life. Like, so I want to say like life is escaping. I don't know if that's everyone's life, but mainly my life. It's like, it's the best parts is when you escape everything. And that's something that really stuck with me. So like doing these adventures, you're escaping the real life, going to a concert for a night and just like letting go of everything, you're escaping for the night. And then just the importance of like the crew and the people around you. Like if I didn't have my crew, I would definitely wouldn't even have made it past the first day. So just having the strong people, and it made me realize like how important these people are to me and how much just human connection means to me.
Do you have like a why? I kind of hate this question, but I feel like it's important because I feel like at some point during a hard effort, you always start asking yourself, why the hell am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this? Why am I in the middle of the desert? It's the third night and I'm still running. Why am I doing this? Do you ever ask yourself that?
Yeah.
What do you tell yourself?
Well, for me, it's like I want my whole life to be revolved around running. I want my career and all my days to be revolved around running. So it's like, whenever I ask myself, I'm like, dude, I chose this life. Like, I chose to be here. So that's like the initial answer. And then whenever that starts to wear off and stop meaning enough to me, I'm like, okay, well then, why did I choose this? Why did I sign up to be here? Past like, okay, like, yeah, it's your life journey right now. It might not be later. It's really, that one changes a bit right now. I don't even know where I was going with that, but I just I like adventure, and I don't know, man. I guess I'm still figuring it out.
I feel that. That's how I am. I when people ask me that, or when I ask myself that, I'm like, I don't actually know fully. I'm just like, it's something about it. I just like it. I just like going and doing something hard. Like, dude, Friday night, we went and ran 4 hours on the trail.
So fun.
From like 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Like, to most people, that's probably not fun. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? But it's just like, I look forward to it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Some of it's type 2 fun. That run was type 1 fun. Because that was like fun the whole time.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But some things are definitely type 2 fun, where it just kind of sucks for some of it. But yeah, I'm coming around to it. Just like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain to people. And I think you kind of have to know fellow runners that do it and other people that just do these hard things, because you all kind of get it. It's like an unspoken thing, I feel like. I don't know. It's a hard thing to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Man, I love that, dude. Should we talk about content?
Yeah.
Dude, you ate a stick of butter.
Yes, sir.
That was 1,000 calories. And then this video on Instagram, people can go watch it. 1,000 calories of butter, 1 stick. And then after you ate that, you had to go run 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
Run until you burned 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
Why did you do this?
It just sounded cool. It sounded fun. I just thought it'd be a fun idea. I saw another guy on Instagram do similar challenges, but he's doing it more with like cakes and cookies. And I was like, okay, like let me make this my own thing, like just butter, which like isn't too bad. Like I like butter, and if you're training for like an Arctic Ultra, you got to have a stick of butter on you. That's what someone told me after. So I was like, oh, that's a good reason I should say that. But I don't know. It just sounded like something I could do and something I'd have fun doing. So why the hell not?
How long did it take from start to finish? Like eating the butter.
Like 2 hours.
Okay, that's not bad. How many? I mean, I guess you burn around what, like maybe 600-700 calories an hour when you're running.
Way less.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 150 an hour.
Calories? It's gotta be more than that.
Maybe 250 an hour.
No way. Are you sure?
It took me, I think it was like 13 kilometers to burn off 1,000.
So that's how long did that take? Like an hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So that's So per hour, are you saying per kilometer you burn 250?
Oh, you were saying 500 per hour.
Per hour, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was gonna say that seems low. Okay, so per hour you burn what, like 500-600 calories?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Okay, that's interesting. How'd the butter taste?
First couple of tastes, good. And then it started being nasty. But I would do it again.
Was it grass-fed butter?
No, I just chose a cheap stick of butter.
Just a cheap.
I was in Walmart.
Was it salted?
Yep.
Nice. Dude. How many bites did that take? You just like do like 3? I feel like you could do it pretty quickly.
Yeah, if you're not gagging.
I kind of want to try it. I like butter a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept though, because you did it with pancakes. I saw too.
Mhm.
It was like 2,100 calories of pancakes.
That one was harder.
Yeah, I mean it's a longer run. Was it like 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah. And I did it in the peak Florida heat, which hurt so much when I was so nauseous.
Did you just like set your watch so you could see like calories burned?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was just like a fun challenge. It doesn't take too much time. It's a little bit different, and like I like eating this food, and I could eat a lot of weird food. So I'm like, oh, this is like a challenge that's up my alley. Let me try these out.
That's an interesting concept to like eat something and then directly go burn it off.
Yeah.
Exactly what you ate. I feel like it's kind of a cool like experiment.
Yeah. It wasn't me who started that. It was this guy like Reese Running or something. So he does it a lot. But I wanted to like kind of one up him a little bit.
We should do like some
Raw milk.
Some with milk.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, milk is dense too because it's got a lot of fat. I think 8 ounces. Like, I think if I filled this glass, I think that's like 300 or 400 calories.
Ooh.
It's very calorie dense.
Yeah.
I wonder how many calories are in a whole jug of milk. It's 60 or 128 ounces. I don't know. I can't do math. It's probably like 4 or 5,000 calories. I think.
I think the next one I'll do will probably be like steak or something.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then you Ubered. Well, no, you didn't Uber.
Yeah.
You were the Uber.
Yeah.
You landed in Austin, and then instead of paying for an Uber, you just ran from the airport across the freeways. Why did you do this? The video. I love that video, by the way. It's so funny.
Thank you.
I watched it like 5 times.
So, dude, we're spending so much money on our body, like keeping our body healthy, getting all the gear, just doing all these trainings, like just costs keep going. So I'm like, oh, let me use this for a little bit of good use. Like, let me just run to where I gotta go. Like, I'm not in a rush.
How far was it?
Not long. It was like 7-8 miles.
That's not bad.
No, so
With a backpack on though.
Yeah, but whatever.
Guess you're used to that.
Yeah.
Commuting.
And it wasn't the most dangerous. Like, I put on Google Maps, and at first it gave me like a 19 or 20 mile route, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean? Like, it looks so close. So then I put it on the bike, and that gave me a bit of a shorter path back to this like 7-8 miles or whatever it was. So I was like, okay, like I'll just take the bike paths the whole way. Like, if Google Maps says I could do it on a bike, then how bad could it be? And I ended up getting on some like freeways or something. But there was always like a really big shoulder. It was never too sketchy.
Okay, good to know. If you need to get from the airport to your location, just put Google Maps on bike mode.
Yeah.
It'll take you there.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your this content strategy you had, where you basically looked at like the top running influencers.
Yep.
And kind of broke down their content.
Yeah.
You made like a spreadsheet of it.
Yeah.
Explain this process.
Yeah, so I just want to kind of understand, like I'm making this content, so why not optimize it to do well? And it was really, really underperforming at one point. I'm still like pretty far from my goals, but it was really underperforming at one point, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I would just go through all these running influencers, a lot of your content, and dissect the videos that had more views than they have followers. I'm like, okay, so this video performed well for them. And then the sections I broke it down into is like, what was the hook? Because the hook's the most important part of short form content.
Yeah.
It's like 90% of it. So writing down all their hooks and then dissecting the style that they're putting it in. So like rarely anyone's gonna say like, I ran 100 miles through this conditions because I wanted to do this. It's like much more punchy and short. What's a good? I'll pull up the sheet right now.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I really want to know like what conclusions you came to. Like
Mm-hmm.
what things seem to work the best.
Yeah. So the first column was like hooks, and then I dissected the cuts and how the content was like structured. So is there music? Is there text overlay? How long did each like scene, I guess you call it, last? And I really found that almost all people's content, if it's not a very dynamic clip, you're not going to see the same clip for more than 3 seconds. And if you do, it's going to zoom in like 20 to 30%. And it's when you're watching, you really don't realize. But then when you're looking and dissecting, you're like, oh my God, it keeps zooming in closer. And
so if it's like a talking piece or something,
Mhm.
it'll like, yeah, I do that. Because, yeah, I think with content, it's all about, obviously the hook's important because you want to get people to continue watching the video, clearly. But then, if you get somebody past the first 3 seconds, then you still have to keep them engaged. It's all about the retention.
Mhm.
So it's like, I personally will like front load. Like usually what I do, I'll just tell you my process for anybody that cares. I will lay out all my clips on like a timeline. I'll do the voiceover, put the captions on. I'll actually do I'll skip to like 5 to 10 seconds into the video, and I'll edit from like, 10 seconds in to the end. So I haven't edited the beginning yet. And then after I edit that part, I'll front load I'll go back through the whole video and put the most interesting, unique looking clips towards the front. Like I'll front load it, and then I'll go through it one more time and pick the one shot out of the whole video that looks the most interesting. And then I'll just plug that in as the very first shot. So the first shot actually gets put in last.
And that's why you're covering your nipples in your video that's exploding right now.
That's interesting. Dude, it was so funny. That video, it's like 8 million views right now. And when I was editing it, first off, I was like, I've never done a video like this. Stupid, like, marathon ASMR. And, like, I didn't know. I almost didn't post it because I didn't think it was going to do good. And it just felt weird.
It's always like that.
Always. And then right before I exported it, I was watching through it one more time. And because the clip originally started with me at, like, the start line yelling. I was like, OC marathon, whatever. And I was like, it doesn't feel very ASMR. And then I saw the nipple. I was putting tape on my nipples before the race. And I was like, that seems more like in tune with like ASMR. Like, you can hear like a little Band-Aid or whatever. And it just looks interesting too. Because I'm like my shirt's off. I'm like, what is this guy doing on his nipples? And at the very last minute, I swapped it. And then I think that's what it was the nipples. Very interesting. Content's so wild.
It worked.
Okay, did you look at the sheet?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what clear takeaway I can give.
So you looked at the hook.
Mm-hmm. The hook, the composition of the video, and that's basically it.
Okay.
So like one of the things I could say.
Did you see did you kind of notice what influencers' content seems to perform the best?
I'm only using high performing content on this sheet, so I'm not like rating like it got X amount of views. It got, because I think that's really between accounts. It's gonna make it. There's a difference. Okay, so this one says like 20 years old versus 30 years old. 3-second intro clip running on a treadmill. 2-second clip with slow zoom showing every year and how he got progressively fitter. It's like that's an interesting video.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, but yes, all these little details matter for sure. And I think on a day-to-day basis, they definitely matter. But the idea of the video, for sure, the most important. Because like that video, that sounds like an interesting video I'd want to watch.
Yeah.
Regardless of like how it's framed and formatted and stuff. It's like, I think that's where people, anybody listening or whoever that wants to like make better content, more viral content, is just spend your energy on ideas.
Yeah.
How do you make the most interesting viral ideas?
What's good about this sheet is like if I'm only taking videos that I like and hooks that I like and the video composition that I like, then I throw that all into ChatGPT with my hook concept and my video concept. And then I'm like using these 10 examples and these 10 structures. Like, how would you like make this type of video?
Interesting.
And that helps me like think of my ideas.
ChatGPT a lot?
I used to. I feel like I got pretty slow now. So I just stopped paying for it because I was getting fed up.
Oh, I never paid for it. I
Yeah.
only ever had the free version.
I was using GPT-4, but I just ended my subscription.
Oh, dang. I used it a lot when it first came out for content. And that was kind of when I was like really getting into it also, into the content. And it seemed like it helped a lot. I would literally plug in like, give me 10 video ideas about this. And like, it would kind of give you, it'd be like a spark.
Yeah.
It's like you take one of the ideas and like, okay, how do I put my spin on it?
It's never good enough, but
Yeah.
it's good to get the wheels turning.
It's a great tool for sure. What's your goal with all your content? Like why make all these videos? Because it's time consuming.
Yeah. I mean, growing an audience, I think, is just the most beneficial thing you can do as an entrepreneur. And as someone who wants to go and conquer all these like crazy adventures, having brands support it is a very tangible way and pretty realistic way. Like seeing what you're doing, seeing what everyone else is doing. And the easiest way to get brands on your adventure ideas is to have a big following, because it's going to be able to positively impact the most amount of people. So if you have your own following of people who support what you do and are interested in adventures, and, you know, I guess they're going to be like they're going to be exposed to the brand and find like, oh, is this brand like really good? Does this brand make the best jackets? Does this brand make good running shoes? It just works.
Yeah. Content is king. I always say that. It's so important.
Yeah.
Whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or you're trying to be a content creator, whatever it is, like I think there's just no better way to reach people. Whether or not you want to work with brands, it's just a good way to reach people.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a message or something you're trying to get out or inspire people, whatever, content is king for sure. Because it's the new like form of attention. Like that's where everybody's attention is at.
Yeah.
And dude, it blows my mind. Like I was thinking about it the other day for like Bighorn. I'm like, why? Like, in what other world would brands be paying me, like a middle of the pack athlete, to go and run this race? And I'm like, it's because the content.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've come to learn, I think a lot of brands, obviously they're always gonna have professional athletes because they want, the top performers wearing the gear.
Yeah.
And they'll, send a team out to shoot and stuff. But top level athletes aren't very good at content because they're focused on their sport, like in training. They don't care about content. They don't need to. But for like people like us, like we're kind of middle of the pack type people, we can still get those same opportunities as professional athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still doing the things. It's just we're not, winning races and stuff, which is, I think it's so cool because there's no other time in history, as far as I know, that somebody, I'm probably going to come in like 97th place at Bighorn, but I've got like all these brands paying for stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so fascinating.
What you said is cool. When you talk about message, it made me think like, okay, if I wanted someone to look at my profile, what message is it to get?
Yeah.
It would be that like doing these, first of all, just running and then doing all these huge adventures doesn't need to be taken extremely seriously.
Yeah.
Like you can do world-class things like participate in these races, maybe not win these races, but do these world-class feats with just like a whatever goes attitude. And you could eat a stick of butter, you could eat a bunch of pancakes, and your training could be running home from the airport. It could be fun. It could be loosey goosey. It doesn't need to be like, oh, well, I'm training for 100 milers, so I need to change every single thing in my life. I can only eat healthy food. I cannot have any like party or see friends or stay up late. I can't like miss any single workouts. It's just like, no, you can chill. You can have like a really fun time and accomplish amazing things.
Yeah. I love that about your content, or just like you in general, is like you don't take anything too seriously.
Yeah.
I sometimes find myself taking things too seriously. I'm like, I gotta, like we were preparing for that 4-hour run the other night. I was like, I had like my whole truck was filled with stuff to go run for 4 hours, and I used maybe 10% of it. But I mean, over-prepared, better than under-prepared, I guess.
Yep.
But also, I could tell you were just like, dude, you don't need all this shit. Just like
you had enough fuel for the whole night.
Yeah.
Gels alone, and then we had like 15 half rounds.
Yeah, I had too much stuff. But I don't know, just the way my brain works, I guess. But no, because it makes me realize it takes the pressure off. It makes it seem like more attainable. Of like somebody like Courtney Dauwalter, obviously like one of the like the best ultra runner ever. But like she eats like pizza and nachos, and she's just like, I don't know, I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
It like makes it seem more accessible, I think, which is cool.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you're like the Courtney Dauwalter on the men's side.
I'm like the Courtney Dauwalter of unpopular, not that fast runners.
No, it's like kind of the same attitude though,
Yeah.
which I like. That's awesome, dude. I love that. Content is king. Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
That's my best piece of advice. Just keep going. It hits. You have a lot of videos that have done pretty good. I saw like you had a couple hit like 40, 50K.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah. It's just, I think, just got to keep posting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And also through the posting, like
You get better.
You get better at it. So I love that. Last thing I want to talk about, you're a hybrid athlete, dude. You're a runner and an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
I love that video you did about that.
Thank you.
What have you always been entrepreneurial?
I've always hated the concept of a 9 to 5.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
But I think most people are scared
Yeah.
to make the jump
It's scary.
because it's the unknown. Is this business going to work? Am I going to run out of money? Can I pay my bills? What if nobody buys my thing?
Yeah.
How do you divert that? How do you overcome that?
Okay, so what you just said made me think of like, so those are all those thoughts. And it sounds so cliche, but like mindset is a huge part of being an entrepreneur and even just living like a happy life. So all those things you said are very negative. And let's say your mind's in the middle and your thoughts are they could be on both sides. You can either stoop and worry and have those thoughts controlling your life, or you can flip it, focus on the goals, focus on like, okay, well, what if I make 1 million sales? What if this video explodes? What if everyone, opposed to like, what if everyone hates my video? What if like the best outcome happens, and then keep striving for that? I think that actually makes a huge difference in your actual performance and your mental health. And in terms of just like managing being an entrepreneur is just kind of saying these, like what you just said, just keep going at it, keep trying, and believe in yourself.
Yeah, dude, I love that's such a good way to put it. It's because it's, I mean, you apply it to running. It's the same exact thing of like, if you go into a race thinking, oh, what if I twist my ankle? What if my stomach goes bad? I mean, those are important things to consider maybe, but like really you should be like, oh, how fast am I going to get this race done?
Yeah.
Like, how many gels am I going to eat? Like just totally remove the doubt and like the negativity. And I guess the entrepreneurial side of things is like, yeah, how do I hit 1 million sales?
Yeah.
Or how do I sell 100 units? Not like, oh, I hope somebody buys this.
Yeah.
It's like people are going to buy it. How many am I going to sell?
Yeah.
It's just like the flip of in your
It
mentality.
makes a big, especially when it comes to like just attempting an opportunity, like sending a couple cold emails or launching the product. That's a huge difference maker. Like do it, and then like you only need to worry about the bad stuff if it happens.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So you're a coach.
Yes, sir.
What else do you do? Is coaching like the only thing in terms of like entrepreneurial?
Yeah. I did a couple like product releases, and then
You got the shirts.
Yep.
I can't wait to get mine. I got a notification it shipped.
Yeah. Should be getting it really soon.
I'm psyched. I love that shirt.
I don't know. I feel like in my head, I feel like I do a million things. But yeah, coaching is the main focus of entrepreneurial.
And it's some one-on-one, like in person.
Yep.
And then some remote as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening, could they work with you if they wanted to?
They could.
Nice. How would they do that?
They'd reach out to me on Instagram.
Nice.
Run Nik 100km.
Do you have a website set up or anything?
There's like in my link in bio, my like link tree. They just apply for coaching.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. I think honestly, anybody that wants to go entrepreneurial, I think coaching is the easiest transition to that.
It's like very low cost to set up.
Yeah.
And if people like you, then it's going to work either way. Because like a lot of people don't realize how much information they have and how valuable it is to just give that information from your perspective and from your experiences, because there's no one else who is you.
Yeah.
So just that is like priceless. Like you can't put a price on your coaching because like, okay, well, you can't get me anywhere else.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are really scared to start.
That's so true. Yeah. Even like people I know that would be great coaches for, I don't know, like a cooking coach or like a life coach or a relationship coach. Like I like it's kind of cliche now. Everybody's like a coach of some kind.
Yeah.
There's so many like influencer coaches
Yeah,
out there, but I think it's like helpful because for that point is exactly like everybody has a unique take on something. Like everybody, I guarantee I know things that you don't know and you know things that I don't know. And like everybody has some unique knowledge that people might be willing to pay for. Yeah, I would say coaching is the easiest transition if you're trying to leave your 9-to-5 job and work for yourself. Has it been tough? Like, because you're full-time self-employed.
Yep.
Did it take a while to like get to that point, or did it go pretty smoothly?
I kind of put all my eggs in one basket and just kind of like this has to work out, and it just slowly started getting there to the point where it was like a self-sufficient. Covering my costs, covering my bills, could pay my rent. So yeah, just worked out.
Yeah.
And then obviously like doing bigger races, getting better brand deals, just doing more accomplishments. That all just helps. Everything grows together.
Yeah. We were talking about this the other day. Like, how many hours a week do you think you work?
Oh my God. It's an impossible question to answer.
Yeah.
Like, is this work right now?
To some, it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it all depends on. I would define work as spending time on things that you don't like to do, but maybe you have to do. That's what I would call work.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Like, I guess to some people, this could be work,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. So if I enjoy everything in my day, like if I'm on a client call and I enjoy it, it's not work.
I wouldn't say it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the true definition of work is, but that's how I would describe it.
Yeah. Then I probably work like an hour a week.
Yeah. That's cool. Dude, that's the dream. It's
Yeah.
just like I remember I got the worst advice ever when I was in high school. Somebody was like, you should never pursue your passion as a career because then you're going to lose your love for that passion because it's going to be about money and it's going to be about work. I don't know who told me that, but the worst advice I ever got.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I'm glad I didn't listen to it because I couldn't think of a better thing to tell somebody than like, go find your passion, the thing you love, and just go try and, if you can make money with it, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I think we grew up with like, I think it's a pretty common term of like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. If you had advice to somebody that's like, maybe like they're in like a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
And like, man, I'm sick of this job. I want the freedom, the financial freedom, the time freedom, everything that comes with being entrepreneurial. And not everybody needs to have that. Some people love their jobs. So that's totally fine. For the same reason, like maybe it doesn't feel like work. But if somebody wants to make that jump, what would you tell them?
The absolute hardest part is the idea phase, getting from conceptualizing it, thinking about what you want to do, to then actually offering your services, making your like selling the product. Like that stage is so freaking hard to like, because it's so easy to give up.
Yeah.
Like you can be putting in so much work, putting in so much notebooks, and if you just stop thinking about it one day, it's over. So once you can actually get something going, something tangible, you did the hardest part. You're going to have hard parts again, but they're not going to be as hard as just getting it from this nothing into something. So I think that should be pretty encouraging that you have the biggest hump right up front.
Yeah. It's like going from 0 to 1 is way harder than 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once you get over that, that's true. There's a book, I think it's like, what's it called? It's like 10x is easier than 2x or something like that. Meaning, I haven't read it. Somebody recommended it to me, but it's like, I don't even want to try to describe it because I haven't read it. But if you want a good book, I
Is
guess
that like
go
a
check
Grant
it.
Cardone book?
I don't know. It's some kind of entrepreneur guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's a book called The 10X Rule.
Oh, that might be Grant Cardone. That guy's kind of weird. He's kind of snaky, I think.
I saw his book in the bookstore. It intrigued me. I picked it up and read it for a bit.
Interesting.
It's a lot of like fill in the blank stuff. I was like, I think I'll do this.
I know if it is Grant Cardone. I know people that have worked for him and his wife. I've heard there's a little something weird going on there. But anyways, maybe the book's great. If it helps you, then great.
Why not?
Yeah. Man, this has been fun. We're already an hour and a half in, and we said we were only gonna do an hour, but there's just so much to talk about, dude. Did we miss anything? Everything we talked about, TSP, future races, how you trained. We covered a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
Nutrition.
Should we tell people why we have?
Oh yeah, Nik from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, came down to Austin for a couple days. I'm like 26 days out from my Bighorn 100-mile race, so I had like some long runs I had to hit this weekend, and he, without hesitation, went out and ran with me Friday night from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. on the this hill trail thing called the Hill of Life here in Austin. And then through the dark, Isaiah Photo came out. Kim came out to shoot photos and stuff. And then this morning, I had another 2-hour run we had to do. So we covered like 9 miles or something on the Hill of Life. Got some vert in, some trail running, hiking. Yeah. And it was hot as balls. It was like 90 degrees. What did we say that was? 32 Celsius?
Yeah, 33, 32.
And we're like, he was talking about, what was it called? Slush puppy?
Yep.
Slush puppy in Canada. It's like an icy or slushy. And I was like, dude, we should stop by a gas station, get some ices. That's also why we're dressed like this.
Yeah.
And sweaty and gross looking because we just got done running for 2 hours.
But if you're running on a really hot day, slushies are so good because they'll refresh you right away. And then the ice will melt inside of you later, consistently hydrating you. So this is optimal elite runner's food.
Dude, all you need is slushies and
potatoes
and maybe a stick of butter.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Got everything right there.
Oh, this has been fun, man. Want to go hit some legs? Should we lift legs?
I'll definitely hit a cold plunge. I don't know about the legs.
Okay. I think I'm going to lift some legs. I'm like craving it right now.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with us, I think. This has been fun, dude.
It's been amazing. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on, sharing all this knowledge with people. I think people are going to love it. Nice. And thank you for spending the weekend running with me, even though I know you love it too.
Yeah, I do.
But it's been fun. Where's the best place for people to find you, connect with you if they want to reach out?
Instagram, YouTube, Run Nik 100km.
And it's Nik with a K.
Yeah, we can put it like right
N-I-K. Yeah, we'll put like all the links down in the description. Heck yeah. Thanks, dude. This was fun.
My pleasure.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We'll see you in the next one.